Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday, July 2nd edition of Speaker Co-working. I am Angela Lewis, head of operations here at Speaker Hub. Very, very excited to talk to our lifetime members and other people who are interested in learning more about the speaking industry. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, from noon until 1 Eastern, talking about the speaking industry and helping you all make money using your intellectual property. As always, we start with wins. So does anyone have any wins they would like to share?
Yay, I have a win.
All right.
So I've been wanting to register just now, like you said, about our, our material that is original. So I've been wanting to register my signature speech as my company. And I just received my certificate of formation.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
So now my ideas, my thoughts, my future plans are all protected.
Wonderful.
Because I
Congratulations. That's a
also
big deal.
registered it as a trademark.
Oh, makes sense.
Yes, so I registered it as a trademark and then I registered it as a business using the same words. So yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. Lawrence.
Well, firstly, congratulations on that, taking the initiative to protect your intellectual property so people can't take your ideas. But my win is that I'm getting a few more podcast bookings lined up for the next few weeks. And one of the other NAMI chapters, which I've been mentioning them all the time, one of them in my city, they're going to have a meeting with me. So they're going to want to bring me in very soon. I already know, even before we have it, that they're going to love me.
Wonderful. Okay. Well,
I love your
as always,
energy
keep
and
us posted.
What you think?
Sorry,
I
I
think
was
Frida
saying,
was saying something.
no,
Yeah.
I was saying I love his energy and confidence.
Thank you. Something I've noticed too is that when you go into a meeting or a podcast or whatever it is, and you just hype yourself up before and you think about how fantastic it's going to go, it usually goes a lot better than you think it will.
Yeah. Your approach matters. Preparation and approach definitely matter. Any other wins?
Well, I'll speak up. I have a few.
Okay. Please
Um,
share.
we have 3 speaking contracts that are right now in the process of being signed, and another one that's being explored. And we've gotten over the last week 5 new podcast interviews. So things are moving.
Awesome. Congrats. You're busy.
Yeah, keeping pretty busy.
Wonderful. Thank you,
No
Michael.
complaints.
All right, Ron.
What's
Hey,
up?
Ron.
Good to see everybody. Thanks to Ange for being in control of things for the last 3 or 4 days. While I was in North Carolina for one day for our family reunion, got to visit my uncle, who I think I mentioned a few months ago was a bit sick. Got to go see him. Got to spend a couple days, well, a day in Panama, and then I'm back now in Medellin. So high five to Ange that the building didn't burn down, which is proof that I don't have to come to these anymore. So, uh, so this is going to be the Ange Lewis show very soon, since the house didn't burn down. But no, good to see everyone. Thanks for continuing to show up and to share your wins and your progress with us. Yeah, so yesterday I did a webinar for Ann McNeil and her team. She does, I think it may be a monthly or a weekly event, and that was actually pretty cool. Got to talk about something that wasn't directly related to speaking, which is always good for me because I talk about speaking every day. So when I get to talk about the stuff behind the speaking business, it's always cool. So Esther, Ada was on the call yesterday. So Ada, if you want to introduce yourself, that would be great. Willie was also on the call, but I know Ada's new here. So Ada, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. I don't think that I did an introduction yesterday. I was trying to multitask. Ada Esther, so whichever name is fine. My sister's name is actually Ada Elizabeth, so we all get confused pretty much every day, depending on the location that we're at. I am in North Carolina. I'm a general contractor. I have my commercial license, so I am able to do commercial and residential projects. I have a business about 3 years old. I am able to do small to mid-size renovations, building from the ground up, upfits. And then for the larger general contractors, I am a subcontractor. So my focus is on specific trades. Right now, I'm working on the finishes. That's the Division 9, so the drywall, the painting, flooring. I'm also supporting with a school on the thermal protection. That's the waterproofing, fire stopping, caulking, and sealants. And I have also supported with laborers and cleaning.
No, that's cool. So yesterday on the call, Ada asked a very, very common question that we get as an entrepreneur. How can I use speaking to grow my business? And if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're here today and you're wondering how do you use speaking as a growth mechanism, you only have to ask yourself one question, and that question is, can people benefit from me sharing what I've learned doing what I do? If people can benefit from you sharing what you learn from doing what you do, you probably have a message that people want to hear. Why? Because that's all that speakers do. They just share stories about what they've learned to try to help those in the audience avoid making the same mistakes. So whether that's in construction, whether that's in health, whether that's in business or motivation, if you have a method that is repeatable, or if you have a system that's repeatable for other people, you should be sharing it and getting paid from sharing that method or system. But no, thank you, Ada, for joining us. Any other questions or comments for the day before I get into my little topic? No? All right, that's going to be easy then. Oh, go ahead, Valencia.
Hey, I just had a win and I wanted to tell y'all my win. It came from Speaker Hub. I just did a podcast interview with a person that I had been following on YouTube, and she asked me to be on her show, and on her podcast. She has a show on YouTube and she has a podcast as well. So, and that's all because of Speaker Hub, and I just wanted to say thank you.
No, it's a big deal. Now, I think people misunderstand the value of podcasting. And it's kind of one of those things where if everybody got something, it must not be special, right? You know how people feel that way? Where everybody got one of them. Like if you said, I got a car, people are like, so everybody got a car, right? But 100 years ago, if you had a car, you were special, right? You was super special if you had a car, right? And nowadays, since everybody has a podcast, we kind of devalue, well, I should say, those who are underinformed devalue the value of going on podcasts. But if we just reframe how we talk about it and we say, well, look, if I had a room full of referrals, I had 60 to 70 people that want to listen to exactly what you're talking about, would you come present to them? Everybody says, yeah, I would show up and I would present to them and I would give them my best shot because I got 60 qualified leads. But that's all that a podcast is. How many of y'all have ever listened to a podcast that you didn't care about and you didn't want to listen to, but you still listened to it for 2 hours anyway? Exactly. Nobody does that. We listen because we want to know, right? We listen because we're engaged in whomever is hosting first. And then we're trusting that they're not going to bring an idiot on their show to talk for 2 hours, right? So you're getting the warmest opportunity to be able to present your products and services. The only thing that comes along with that, just like every other thing in life, is that it will be an instant reflection of how good you are. And it will instantly show you the things you have to work on. But because it's not your show, we sometimes defer to say that it's somebody else's fault, right? Well, I went on a podcast and I didn't get nothing. Okay, maybe you weren't as good as you think you are, right? I did that before. I spoke at local associations. Didn't nobody buy anything from me. Cool. With that attitude, I'm sure they'll continue to not buy anything from me. Because ain't nothing your fault. Everything is everybody else's fault. I can just listen to a person. Now, here's the beauty of having nieces and nephews before you have your own kids. You done heard everything. By the time I had kids at 43, I got a niece that's 35, right? I got a nephew that's 27, and another niece I was with this weekend that's 19. I done heard everything. All the excuses, all the lies, what they do behind their mama back when their mama turn their head, they turn to their uncle, they go, I done seen all of that from the uncle's perspective. So I know my kids do it to me. I've been an employee and worked with how people deal with their teams and their managers. So I just tell my team, I know y'all got a separate group chat where y'all talk about me. I know they do. They ain't got to act like they don't. I know they got one. And it's all in Spanish. Just to make sure. I know they got a Venezuelan one. They got an Argentina one. They got a Colombian one. I know. And then they get together and they talk about it when I'm not around. But that's okay. It's expected. But not accepting that. Not accepting that when I went on the podcast, I didn't generate any leads is my fault and I need to get better. You already telling me what I need to know. What you can, Janika know, you can talk to somebody and you can hear it right out of their voice. Well, didn't nobody, you're like, here we go with this person. Or I need this other thing. There's like several groups of people. There's the people who need all the tools before they get started. They got to have the best. I remember this when I played baseball. The kid had to have the best cleats, baseball cleats. He had to have the best glove. He had to have the best bat. His mama fixed up his outfit. He had the shirt pressed to sit on the bench. And we would use his bat. And his uniform never got dirty. He won the award for the cleanest uniform every game because he never got in there to slide and get on base. But that's a lot of us. We need all the tools, right? But then there's the person who says, well, I'm still getting ready. They got all the tools, but they still preparing everything. And they still getting ready. And they just getting ready to do nothing, right? That's that person. But the other one is the person where they've done all the things, but it's everybody else's fault that they didn't get what they expected. And I'm a firm believer that you can't complain about the results you didn't get from the work you didn't do. So if you haven't gone on 50 podcasts, how are you going to compete with Lisa Nichols, who's done 2,000? That's who you want to be. But you want to be Lisa Nichols in her present form, not Lisa Nichols when she was at your stage. Do you see the difference? I have to be Ron Story at this stage. I can't be the Ron that I want to be in the future because I ain't there yet. But I got to be me right now and be willing to know that every day I'm making more progress towards that future person. And at Speaker Hub, it starts with podcasts. It starts with getting on and sharing what you know on a podcast and having somebody question your behind. Because a lot of us just get up and talk and don't nobody question us, right? And if you've ever been on any conversation with me, the first thing I tell you, hey, unlock these mics. Because I want y'all to question what I'm saying. Call me to the stage. You know, what they say, do an altar call. Let me know that I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't sit there in silence because I didn't put tape over your mouth with the mute, make you feel like you can't question what I'm saying. right? So I'm a firm believer that that is really, really, really important, because as we go through our surveys that we're doing, we find that most speakers aren't, well, let me say it this way. The level of arrogance and expectation doesn't match the level of experience and income. Does that make sense? So it's like, well, I want to be paid $10,000 per speech, but they've never spoken before. Now, I'm not saying that they can't get that, but there's different methods of getting that $10,000, $20,000 speech that it may not be up front. How do we get paid in Speaker Hub, Kevin? 3 ways, right? You remember that? What is it?
Before, during, and after the presentation.
Yep. And those who lean on getting paid before is usually because they don't have a way to get paid during or after. So they argue for their weakness, right? I remember my Uncle Fred Kennedy. He used to always say, hey, Ron, you're going to deal with 2 things. One is synthetic genius. You're going to think because you gave yourself the title CEO, you know everything. And it's going to be the one thing that'll kill your business. Just because you got this title you gave yourself, that's synthetic genius. It ain't real genius. You're an idiot running this company. And he was very clear. The faster you learn that, the better off you'll be. Now, he was qualified to tell me that. He graduated twice from Harvard as an MBA and undergrad in the 60s. Okay. So this wasn't like the new Harvard when everybody gets in. He got in when it was hard, right? He was the CFO of Lipton Tea Company. And he also was the global head of supplier diversity for PepsiCo worldwide over all of their brands. So he had the right to tell me the truth. And it was the smartest thing that I ever learned, that I couldn't think that I knew everything, right? Because I gave myself a title. So what I want to talk about today, and I really want to get into this thing of why is it that speakers take things so personal? Why do y'all think that is? Frida, why we take it so personal?
Well, I would take it personally because I treat myself as the brand. So when someone talks about me, I forget to compartmentalize the me, Frida, personal me, the mother, sister, and the brand, spiral reflective psychology and leadership and stuff like that. But although they show up in this vessel as one, they're separate. But sometimes we forget.
I will 100% agree with that. Anybody want to add something or a different perspective? Because Frida gave me a whole street to go down with that one. That is a good, man. I don't know how much any other perspectives on this before I go down this road that
For
that
me,
Frida is so beautifully paved.
yeah, that was a beautiful way of putting it. For me, I would say that the reason why speakers can often feel this pain when they're criticized or judged is because often we're very much used to just talking at the audience, but once they start saying things back and they say, hey, I don't really agree with you on that, or I think that you're wrong on this, it can feel like they're attacking you rather than them criticizing what you said.
100%. And I 100% agree with you. 100%. Any other things? Angela's, one of her favorite artists is this lady named India Irie, right? And India Irie talks about, she has a great song called I Am Not My Hair, right? And she has all these other things. She just stars with I'm Not My Hair, but then she lists this other list of stuff that she's not. I'm not your expectations. I'm not this. I'm not whatever. She like, look, I ain't none of the stuff that you want me to be. I am who I am is the gist of that song. And I think speakers have to kind of sing that song to themselves. I am not my website. I am not my speech. I am not my course. I am none of these things. I am who I am. I just produce these things and they're open for criticism and feedback so that I can make them better. because I didn't make them to show that I was smart. I made them to help you guys in the audience, right? If you look at anything we've done at Speaker Hub, nothing today on July the 2nd looks the same as it did July 2nd last year. The logo is different. The color schemes are different. The speaker flywheel is different. The names of our products are different. Everything has changed. Why? Because we listened to what you guys had to say. Imagine if I took it personal. Now, do I fight for what I believe? You damn right. I don't mind arguing for a perspective. But I'm also willing to say, yeah, Ron, they beat you on this one, right? It was a good debate, but you lost this one. Change it, right? And I think as speakers, we take it so personal because we haven't made that separation. But here's the thing. When we as entrepreneurs take things personal, we become uncoachable. When we take things personal, we instantly become uncoachable. Now, how many of y'all have had someone that was doing better than you talk down on you? Right? Very rarely does that happen, in my opinion. Like, I'm not talking about somebody I'm talking about in something I cared about, right? Like, if I went to a mentor, like David Price has never beat me up mentally. My uncle, when he told me about Synthetic Genius, he wasn't being mean to me. He my uncle. He want me to win. Right? But we take it as if they're being mean to us. But usually the people that are ahead of us are just giving us the constructive. Wait. What does constructive mean? To build, right? You ever did pottery and you see the people, they got the thing spinning and they got their hands and then they mess it up and you see them smash it, right? And then they got to start all the way back over, right? And they get it and they start wobbling and the jar look like this. The jar look like my head is over to the side and you like it's supposed to be straight, right? And they got to smash it and do it again. That smashing hurts, especially when we've tied our egos to it. But we can't become uncoachable, right? So the biggest thing that we've run into at Speaker Hub is that the person that sells the dream isn't always the coach. Do you know that? The person that puts the dream in you isn't always going to be the coach that gets you there. Let's go back to the kid that plays baseball or basketball. All of us have a time when we were a kid where our mamas or our daddy said, you can do it. Jadika, you're so smart. Your mama ain't your teacher though. She ain't in the room with you 8 hours a day telling you that you misspelled this word or get your fractions together on the math test. But she say, my baby's smart. She got all A's. She putting the vision in you, but she ain't the coach. Does that make sense? So is it wrong for her to put that vision in you? No, it is not wrong. Right? When someone told Kevin, I think you got some with this boxing thing. You should get in a tournament or you should get in this speaking competition. Are they wrong for putting that vision in them? No, but they're not always going to be the coach that gets them. I've seen Angie's mom. She's 5'2". She come to Angie's elbow, right? She put the vision in Ange, but her brother and them dunking on her out in the middle of the street because they all the same height. Put the work in to help her to develop so that she wouldn't be afraid of playing against the girls because she'd been getting beat up by 2 twin boys her whole life. You see what I mean? So mama, baby, you going out there with them. Going out there and play. Go show them. Her mama ain't boxing out nobody. She drive to the event, right? So in the past, I used to hate these visionaries. I couldn't stand these people that sell these courses on how to be a speaker because they putting this vision in the person with no accountability. And I had to get over it. I had to get over it. I had to say it ain't their fault because they're not lying to the people. Frida can be that speaker. Kevin can be that speaker. Willie can be that speaker. The question is Willie coachable? Is Frida coachable? Does Khalil, is he going to follow instructions? Is he going to follow the system or try to figure it out on his own? Because if he's just going to figure it out on his own, cool. Take the vision, go on over there. You're going to be great over there. You're going to hate it over here. You're going to hate it over here because we're rudimentary. Like, hey, put the 2 eggs in the milk, stir it up, wait 5 minutes, put it in a buttered plate. Eventually you'll get a cake. We're recipe focused, right? But it doesn't work if you take it too personal. It doesn't work if you decide to change it, but then say it didn't work. Do you know how many people sign up for Speaker Hub and they've never sent an email before to anybody about getting a speaking gig? And the first thing they do is say, this AI thing is stupid. Huh? wait, I don't like the way this email, right? This email thing is dumb. Okay, cool. How many emails did you send before you made this critique? What background do you have to say that our emails don't work? Because we got Jadika, Valencia, Kevin, Willie, Lawrence, Sharon, Bonnie, Cardis, Leroy, that say it worked. They got results that say it worked. They didn't use the words that say it worked, but we got a scoreboard with the buckets. We keeping track of the home runs. We keeping track of the 3-pointers. We just call them podcasts, associations, conferences, and press. We just keep track. We keep score publicly. But that's not being coachable. Does that make sense? That's just not being coachable. Right? So as long as we take things personal and we say, hey, look, I am attached to the email that I send. They're getting a representation of me. No, they're not. They don't even know you. When your email arrives, it does not get read in your voice. Did you know that, Jasmine? That people don't read your emails in your voice. They read it in their own voice. Right? They read it in their own voice. And Lauren said something a bit earlier about how when he changes his physical state and his mentality and he goes in, everything just seems to work out and people treat him differently. So in your emails, you got to change some people's physical and mental state sometimes, right? You got to get them a bit more pumped up than what they normally are. You got to be your own cheerleader in some ways, but not overly doing it, but start with a positive vibe, right? But you got to be willing, again, separate yourself from the product. That inability to be coachable is really tough. And I'm a firm believer that over the next 6 months, as we start implementing more coaching, so a lot of the ways that we do things, we've been promising the speaker launch formula, a lot of those things are coming to fruition in the next week or so, once the new platform is live. But I'm just going to tell you, it ain't going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. And there's going to be some accountability. That's what it's about. So what'll happen in a lot of these groups, there will be some accountability. Hey, let's report our numbers. How many pitches did we send? Okay, you sent 100, you only got 2 responses. How do we get that to 10? Let us see what you're sending, right? It's going to be that style of coaching because you don't need no more motivation, right? I don't think y'all need no more motivation. Y'all need more activation, right? But we also going to kick some people out, right? So you ain't doing your stuff. Just go on over there. Come back when you're ready. Come back when you're ready. Don't, because there's a lot of opinion without action. Y'all know somebody that do that? They know how to do everything, but they ain't done nothing. Willie, you know that person? They got an opinion on everything. They ain't done a damn thing, but they got an opinion on everything. We like, yo, man, show me how you did it. Well, no, I mean, I was on this one webinar where this one lady was talking about what she learned from this one lady, and she read it in a book. And it's like, oh, he must be a speaker. Because speakers know all the quotes from other speakers that they done quoted from other speakers that they done quoted from another speaker. And we're like, hey, yo, well, they don't want me to come in to talk about leadership at their corporation. Cool, because they looked at your LinkedIn and they see you ain't never led nobody. Is that hard? you ain't never had a team of employees at any of your jobs, but you gonna come talk on leadership? Imagine me teaching a class on childbirth. I ain't never pooped out a kid. Don't waste it. Now I can talk about it from a daddy perspective. Hey man, go in the room and shut up. That's my rules to daddies. If your wife giving birth, just be quiet. She don't want to hear nothing you gotta say. I can teach that class. You know, no matter what you say, she annoyed. Right? Just be quiet. It's your fault. Everything is your fault that day. You know. Right? But talking about how to give birth and what exercises the woman needs to do, man, I ain't certified to do none of that. So I can't be offended when no hospital wants me to come in to be a birthing instructor. Now, it sounds funny because y'all think about it and y'all be like, man, of course they're not going to, but you ain't never led nobody. You ain't never managed nothing, but you're a management consultant. How? You ain't never sold nothing. Your company is going down because you ain't made enough sales, but you do sales training for corporations. You think these people that run billion-dollar companies don't do research to find out who you are? But it's Speaker Hub's fault that you're not getting the gig. It's our fault, right? You better get out of here. Send you back your $500 and block you. That's my recipe for that. Like, I'm quick to, like, yeah, just block the IP address. Don't let them buy ever again, right? Because it's not my job to be your business tooth fairy, right? My job is to be your perspirational speaker, to hop on with you on a daily basis, make sure you're doing what you need to do. And if you're not doing it, then just be like, all right, tell me, come back and share it with us when you did it. I was on a phone call really quickly because I think it talks about taking things personal, right? And I was on a call with a guy named T, and T is a PhD. He's super duper smart, and I'll just use T as his name. And he wanted to send some cold emails, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to reach out to like 100 people next week. Can you review my email?" I said, "Why don't you send it to 1,000 people and see what they say, and then I'll review the email." He was like, 1,000? I said, "Yeah, 1,000. Man, that's going to take me 2 months." I said, "Okay. So are you planning on ending the project that you're working on sooner than that?" He was like, "No, I'm going to be doing this for the next 5 years." Hey, man, don't it make sense to take 6 months to get it right? Do you see what I mean? Like, most people will be speaking if available for the Frida, how much longer are you going to be speaking? When you plan on retiring from speaking?
I ain't retiring, Ron.
Exactly. So she's not retiring from speaking no time in the foreseeable future. So don't it make sense to take a year to just kick ass and get it right? To build an unstoppable foundation of the podcast and the speaker reels? Because you can't go on 100 podcasts this week. You can't do 20 live speaking gigs to get your speaker reels this week. You just can't. It's not possible. But that's what's needed to get to the next stage of what we want. But we can't do it next week. But we say, man, I'm going to try this 3-day trial of Speaker Hub. And if I can't retire by Monday at the end of this trial, they ain't getting this $29. And I'm like, what? Man, go and get up out of here with that, man. Go on over there. Right? So when do we need motivation? let's end on this. When does a person need motivation?
In the beginning,
In the
get
beginning.
started.
Okay. When I'm gonna argue that in a second, because I think that that's the time when you need the least motivation. Right?
I have a comment to say on the motivation thing.
Oh, go ahead, Ada.
So I have never been athletic, but in the past year and a half, I have completely neglected my exercise activities. And yesterday there was like an Instagram post that said, "You don't need motivation. You just need to get things done. I mean, you just have to get up and you have to get done what needs to get done. Motivation is a trap." And I was like, oh my gosh, this person is speaking to me. Yes, that is exactly what I'm feeling. Because I still have a day job and I'm trying to grow my business. And I have been very, very focused on that. Like I have hustled very hard. But by doing that, whatever is not priority for me, which is the physical exercise, have gone all the way to the end of the priority list. It's not even on the list at all. And then when I saw this message about you don't need motivation, that was a message to me because sometimes you just gotta get things done because you have to get things done. I mean, it's like, cooking and cleaning your home and, brushing your teeth. You do it because you have to. And then eventually that just becomes a, habit. So that was like a dagger directly sent to my heart yesterday. I'm like, yeah, I gotta do better.
100%. I agree with that, right? Any other comments on this? Right? So I'm going to give you my point of view on motivation. And this is controversial. So if you don't like it, oh well, don't forget it after I tell you. But is what I believe, right? So I believe that a person only needs to be motivated when their expectations weren't met. So if I said I wanted to make $100,000 from something, from a project, right? And I do the project the first time and I missed $100,000. But I don't have any other ways to do it. So guess what I need? Motivation, right? Because I'm frustrated. With my expectations, I didn't hit my timeline. I tried everything I thought I knew. Now that's when a person needs motivation. Does that make sense? But isn't that just coaching? Right? Because the feeling of you can do it, that ain't motivation. That don't change your situation. Right? It's when you talk to somebody that's already been there and they say, Frida, what'd you do? Oh, you did that? Oh, girl, let me just show you over here. All of a sudden, she ready to go again because she sees light. That what he didn't give a motivational speech. He gave you hope. He coached you up to hope. He said, do this, fix this, tweak that, go. And then your desire to go forward continue. You don't need that at the beginning. At the beginning, you got on rose-colored glasses. And I'm not arguing with you, Kevin. I'm just saying, from my perspective, at the beginning, we already gung-ho. We going out there doing everything wrong. We telling everybody, I quit my job. I did this. I'm a speaker. I'm in this course. You should sign up too. Girl, I told you this is my year. New year, new me, all of the BS. Right? I'm going to the gym. I'm going to lose some weight. March comes around. Dun, dun, dun. That new treadmill is a clothes hanger. Right? You still making the payments on it. But it's you ain't using it no more, right?
And my opinion was that's not when you needed the motivation. That's when you have the most motivation. When you have this vision of, "Oh, I'm going to have a body like Honest. I'm going to look like Beyonce or whatever." You have that motivation in the beginning, but then once you see the type of effort that you have to put in, that's when you need discipline and maybe guidance. And then when you fail, that's when you need to be more motivation from a coach, like you were talking
100%.
about.
100%, right? Because now that's really, really, really important as entrepreneurs that work by themselves. Because on this call, everybody's perfect. On the call, everything is perfect. I mean, Ain't nobody on this call, not everybody on this call. I know everybody on this call do what they supposed to do. Like I just know these are killers. This is the on here 12, 16, 19. These are the top 19 people on the leaderboard on this call. We go to the leaderboard, all 19 of the people on there. Come on, man. We know that ain't true. we know that ain't how it works, right? But the point I'm making is I've learned that when I stop taking things so personal, as if they were attacking me, and if the advice came from someone who was ahead of me, I no longer needed motivation anymore because I realized that I had a team of allies. I had people who wanted to see me succeed. I had to be willing to eat the poop sandwich and accept the advice and get better. And I had to be willing to keep going. One of my favorite things to do, and I got to stop doing it, which is starting to give up some of the customer success calls and let Ange and her team handle that. Why? Because I know the person that's willing to call me and set up a call because they frustrated with something in the software, they doing it, right? They trying. Hey, I sent these and I ain't get this, or I don't know if we get the right responses, or I love those calls because I know they in activity mode. They not in I'm thinking about it mode. They like, look, I haven't sent all of these and nothing happened. Is something wrong with me? Nope, ain't nothing wrong with you. Keep going. Nope, you're doing it right. Keep going. Right? Jasmine.
Oh, my take on motivation, and that's just based on experience from running a large sales team, is that motivation to me, and I used to have meetings every Monday morning, and I changed that because everybody thought I was going to give a motivational speech, and yes, they were correct. I'm trying to motivate someone to see everything from my point of view. So what I did, I changed the day of the meeting, and by changing the day of the meeting and speaking to them, as you says, motivation is really coaching. They weren't expecting the rah, you can do it, this what you do, this what you do, what you do. So I have a thing for motivation because you can try to motivate someone till you're blue in the face. If they're not motivated within themselves, it never gonna happen. So you're correct in saying I'd rather change that word to motivation. I like inspirational and I like coaching because that's how that comes in. I know motivation is too broad and too many people have their own opinion of what motivation is. And it always comes down when you look at it from a point of view is that you're motivating someone to see something from your point of view. Am I correct?
I 100% agree with you. Right? So we can just look at the words. We all speak English.
Yes.
The root word of motivation is motive.
Yeah. What's your motive?
I can't give you the reason for doing it.
Yes.
Right? But the adjective part of it is got to get your ass to work, producing physical or mechanical motion.
Yeah.
When you get to work, all of those things start to going. So a person needs that to be reminded of why they're doing it, and then shown a new path of action. Right? That's what I was saying, is that usually it's because the person didn't get to the goal that they were trying to get to. And they feel like they've run out of options, so they've stopped. Because if they thought they had another viable option, they would just go down that path. Or the options that are presented to them, they don't believe in them.
True.
Right? And it's so much easier to believe in doing nothing, especially when you're highly intelligent, because doing nothing prevents one thing for sure, failure. But it prevents the second thing for sure, potential success. So we just do nothing because I don't want to fail again. So I'm just going to sit here and look at the wall. I'm going to Google search. I'm going to watch some more YouTube videos. I'm going to read another book. I'm going to take another course. No, man, get back out there. Got to get that engine running again. You got to get that locomotive moving again, right? You got to get that motion back into your life. So I think that this is really important, guys, because in June, we had the lowest pitch number of pitches sent than we've had in the last 12 months. Everybody's excited about the new product and putting together their courses.
And they're
But none of those
traveling
things,
and all that. I vouch for that because that's, I look at myself, trust me, I go on that, I look on that board and I said, okay, Jasmine, you got your party time, you got your this, you're doing some referrals, you know what the job is. You know what the job
that's it.
is.
Yeah.
Okay, so get
Keep
your
pitches.
behind
That's it.
going with that.
Yeah.
Trust me.
But so we had the lowest number of pitches sent in the last 12 months in June. And it was crazy because it was 50%, almost 50% of what was sent in March. Right? March was a record month for us. I think I remember reporting that. But if I'm gonna celebrate the good with you, I'm gonna celebrate the bad with you too. I'm gonna come on here and talk about the worst month also. Why? Because it's somewhere in there we failed you guys to keep you all focused on what the long-term vision is and what needs to happen in order to keep going at this thing. Again, I didn't give you the vision of being the $10,000 speaker or the six-figure speaker or the $1 million person. That wasn't my job. I didn't give you the vision. But I've done those things. So I can give you the recipe. And part of giving the person the recipe is saying, hey, you just put that cake in the oven. It's got to stay in there for 35 minutes. You just put that brisket on the smoker. It's got to stay on there for 4 hours. Right? Right? You just put that the yeast in that dough. It's got to sit in there for 24 hours, whatever. You just put the steak in the what's the thing? The dry aging thing. It's got to be in there for 45 days. Right? These things that take time to get better. Ron, you just joined the speaking business. You're just a little seed. It's going to take time for you to gestate and to grow and to mature into the speaker you want to be. You will be an acorn tree. You will be, given enough time. Les Brown was doing 5 gigs a day. A day. Right? 53% of speakers didn't do 5 gigs last year. But they want to be Les Brown, but they're not willing to be Les Brown when he was at their stage doing 5 gigs a day. Frank Kitchen, he talked about it on his thing. He's like, dude, I was speaking everywhere. Lethea Owens, go back and listen to her talk. She did 173 speaking gigs in her first 12 months. She said the couple times she got paid with a 2-piece chicken dinner and green beans. But she did that speech. And then she realized that people may not be willing to pay her a lot up front, but she can go into a room and get people to buy her $1,000 coaching thing. So instead of speaking for free, if she could just sell one person in the audience into her $1,000 thing, at least she made $1,000 that day. Right? So I know where you want to be, but sometimes you need a role model that has been there, and then understand that you will get to where they are. If you don't believe in yourself, they already gave you proof. But you got to remember where they were when they were at your stage. That's the most important thing in any business, because you will hurt yourself. Before I go to Bonnie, I want to share a quick story. My daughter is 3 years old. She'll be 4 in November. And you all see her come in and out all the time, right? And I think she's my baby. So I'm gonna put a vision in her that nobody else will ever want to put into her. I'm gonna tell her who she can be and what she can do, right? But I'm not gonna call her stupid because she ain't accomplished it at 3. If y'all saw me on here saying, well, you are so dumb, you don't even understand calculus. Somebody on this call would call CPS on me in Columbia and try to get my baby taken away from her. Because if I'm willing to talk to her down like that in front of people, imagine what I'm saying when nobody's around. Does that make sense? But why would you all, I'll use Valencia. Valencia, why would you be upset if you heard me call my daughter stupid Because she don't understand trigonometry and calculus at 3.5.
Because she doesn't have the capacity at that age.
So why do y'all get offended when we tell you ain't nobody gonna pay you 20 grand? It's just today. They may do it in a couple of years when you develop the capacity. We've all seen 5-year-olds that are doing high-level math. Right? They had a coach that walked them through the little trick. I still can't do it. Y'all ever seen the thing where they write like 8 numbers and they tell the kids to multiply it and the little kid come up with the answer in 15 seconds? You're like, bro, what sorcery are you using? Wait, hold on. Let me show you real quick. And then we'll go to Bonnie. I want to show y'all this. Y'all seen this? These kids doing math tricks. Like, watch this. Let me show you something. Like this. I don't know what that is. 32 times 31. Forget about it. Give me my computer. Right? But look what this kid's going to do. Now, I don't know what none of this is doing. He's counting dots and they ain't never teach me this. Look at this.
He looks pretty though.
Look at that. Now, you think this kid discovered that on his own? They had a coach. You know what us old folks say? That ain't how we did math. You got to put the thing and put the X underneath, multiply the first one times all 3, and it take us 8 minutes. Right? But he figured out I could just do some tic-tac-toe and count the crosses and I get the answer. But he had a coach that showed him that trick. Now, what you think he's doing in his mind? He could do that without paper. He just did it on paper so we could see how he was thinking about it. Does that make sense? But that's how it is sometimes, where we're like, yo, nobody showed me the trick. Now, imagine if I told my daughter she was stupid. And then Dr. Jordan Smith, who was teacher of the year, the Speaker Hub user, lifetime member, teacher of the year in math. And he teaches math to inner city kids to help them to get better with SAT prep. And his main thing is taking kids that were behind in math and bringing them up in 6 months, like just by teaching them tricks like this. Now, he just happens to be my first cousin, but he was teacher of the year in the United States, I think 3 times. And crazy story. I hadn't talked to Jordan in 40 years, like since I was a kid. And we sent out the lifetime thing that Janika bought, and he says, "Hey, by any chance, do you know Kenny Smith?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know Kenny." He says, "That's my brother." Do you know I ain't talked to you since you was a little boy, and I just bought your thing. Thank you to Speaker Hub for reconnecting us after 40 years. Right? But Jordan, teacher of the year, math teacher, look him up, Dr. Jordan Smith, incredible. Right? Now, you think he could work with my daughter to get her up to speed? You think he could? He probably could, right? Because he has the expertise and the talent. That's all that I'm saying, guys. It's not that you're bad or that you're not qualified. It's just you may be a little premature in your speaking journey. You may be a little premature in your exposure and how many people know you. So just give it enough time. Amaya, in enough time, will be doing calculus and trigonometry and all these tic-tac-toe tricks. Give it enough time, but I can't call her stupid right now. That's all that I'm saying to all of my speaker friends out there. The person who gave you the vision, they weren't lying to you. The question is, are you lying to yourself, saying that it can be done in 6 months? Or are you putting yourself on an unreasonable timeline? And if it's not worth the work, then don't do it. Go do something else. You may be a professional lottery player, right? That may be better for you. You can get a quick win, you know? But things that require skill take time. Erica, good to see you. Bonnie, what's up?
So along this vein, we were talking yesterday a little bit with AJ too about how we promote ourselves to folks would hire ourselves, and it's clear that saying that we're motivational speakers is not the way to go. I'm just curious about getting back into that conversation a little bit, how we do promote ourselves at what type of speaker. I mean, inspirational or different wording.
Well, I mean,
I'm curious about that.
I would promote myself as a problem solver, right? People hire you because they got a problem they need solved.
So how do you put that into promotional material describing yourself as a speaker?
Yep, you say, I'm Ron Story. I help speakers to get booked on more stages. I'm Bonnie. I help, people relieve anxiety so that they can deliver more results. Talk about the outcomes,
Mm-hmm.
right?
The outcomes, yeah.
Yeah, talk about the problem you solve, right?
So gone are the days of referring to ourselves as motivational or inspirational speakers, because that's what people used to say all the time.
Yeah, but those people never got booked.
I'm not sure that's entirely true, but okay.
Okay, find me somebody who calls themselves that got booked.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with you.
Michael is on here. Michael has been on all the stages in the world. Michael will be playing modest on here, but Michael is probably the most experienced speaker on this call right now. Michael gets up, he tells his story, and is it inspirational? Is it motivational? Yes.
Yes.
But I don't think that, that he's saying he's this thing. I think but I'll let him speak for himself.
Well, I do say and have no problem saying that my talks are inspirational and motivational, but they're also educational. And I do work to make sure that I provide whatever services and messaging is necessary for your audience in order to give you and them the things they really need. Tell me something about what you're looking for in a speaker to deliver a keynote address. I want to put it back on them to tell me what they want as well. And the people who I book do that. I've had some who don't, but the bottom line is that most people are looking for something. And if I ask them what they're looking for, they'll tell me. And then I can tell them how I can do that.
That's called being a problem solver.
Absolutely.
That is exactly it.
But I have no qualms about saying that the talks are motivational. I mean, my gosh, escaping from the 78th floor of Tower 1 of the World Trade Center ought to be motivational. But there are a lot of lessons to be learned from that. And that's the issue.
Right. Exactly.
Absolutely.
I think we're saying the same thing really quickly. Bonnie.
Yeah, we are.
What I'm saying is the title isn't more important than the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
No. But what I'm asking is in promotional material, before we have these conversations about what outcomes people are looking for, that's what I'm trying to put out. And I'm not a marketing genius. That's
Okay,
one of my
let me
greatest
ask you this
issues.
question really quickly. What's the first thing they're going to get to you before they get to the promotional material?
I'm not sure.
Will they receive how are they going to receive the promotional material? Via email, via you're going to mail it in the mail?
Social media, business cards, postcards, anything.
Yeah. So in the promotional material, I mean, in the email or whatever the delivery mechanism is, right? You're going to talk about the problem you solve. So you're talking about a secondary handoff. Don't worry about that. Just put whatever you want to put on there. You can put you are a plate juggler. If they get to your promotional material, they already know what you do in the first conversation you have with them. I just don't want you majoring in the minors. You can put motivational speaker, inspirational speaker, do that, but that's not going to be the make or break decision.
Right, right. I understand that. Okay.
Right. So
I
let's
get
not, because we'll get to, well, should I put it in cursive or italics or bold or underline? It don't matter. That ain't gonna be the deciding factor if you say inspirational, motivational. She didn't say she was an inspirational speaker. Well, what the hell are you, a demotivational speaker? I've never found a speaker that wasn't trying to inspire or motivate people to do something. That's what a speaker does. If
Yep.
not, you're called a lecturer or a professor.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a demotivational speaker, so it's kind of accepted by default, guys.
Yeah.
But we
See,
don't get caught up in these minor things. Put whatever you want, it'll work.
got it.
There you go. I'm gonna give you that vision. Put whatever you want, it'll work.
I got the vision, and I'm coachable. Thanks.
Yeah, and put it in bold too, so they really understand.
Okay, I will.
All right, Jasmine.
That's funny. Hey, Bonnie. No, I never really put in my message that I motivate or inspire, but my underlying motive is to inspire someone to live a healthier and happier life. And in the process, when I, deliver, my service to them, they in turn tell me that they're motivated to do and to make the change. I
Nice.
came, and that's how I just position myself that way. And because I don't want to be in a pocket anyways. I don't want to I can't motivate you to be healthy, right? But I can inspire you to be healthy. And I watched, just for anyone who want to take a peek at it, I came back from the cottage early while I'm here today because of bad weather. We're in Canada. And I watched a documentary, and I think it was narrated by Jeff Bridges again, I think. It's called Engineers. And especially for you, Ron, I want you to watch it with you and Maya. You and Maya to watch. It's called Engineers.
Okay, I'll check
All
it out.
right, because
Text me the link.
applies to all of us.
Yeah, text me the link. I think that'll be great.
Okay.
Right. Good, Dr. Juanita, good to see you. Some people didn't get a chance to introduce themselves, and I saw them pop off. I apologize. Juanita, if you want to introduce yourself, and Valencia, I see you're here too. New people, I know there are two new folks that have never been on a call before. So if you want to introduce yourself, tell us what you speak about and or what business you're in, and we'll go to Claudine and then over to Frida.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Juanita of Inspired by Juanita. I am a speaker and author, facilitator as well. I currently am working with early childhood education schools providing professional development, certified trainings that are really needed throughout the state of Massachusetts. My passion is speaking with women and families, educating them with starting their businesses and growing their homes so that whether or not they find a job that they have income. So those are the things that I'm currently speaking about, and looking forward to speaking with a lot of you guys and connecting. And thank you for an amazing training yesterday, and even what I caught today. Very fruitful. Thank you so much, Ron.
Oh yeah,
for
no
having
problem.
me.
You're always welcome. We're here every day at noon. We're 7 minutes into overtime. This call goes from noon until I get tired, but at least it's gonna go for an hour every day. And we answer these types of questions. So Valencia,
I
and then we'll
just
go
put
to
it in my
Claudine.
phone on the calendar.
Yep, same room. We same bad time, same bad channel, same bad. I ain't gonna say that word, but y'all get it. Valencia, go ahead.
My name is Valencia. I actually speak already, but I don't speak for what I really want to do, which is do more of my accounting, financial literacy for entrepreneurs. However, I currently speak for Juvenile Justice, which is a campaign for fair sentencing of youth that I actually speak with legislators. Last month was parole boards, and I'm going back again to do a private session with a parole board. But I get an opportunity to tell my story about my experience with the juvenile justice system as a survivor. And I deal with a lot of the young men and women who were sentenced to life and sentenced to die in prison. So I do that already. And matter of fact, my radio show that I'm in the works of now relaunching is called The Release. and it will feature all of the stories of the men and the women who were sentenced as children, to talk about their story, to kind of give them and where they are in their lives. And I find that most of their lives are very inspirational. So that's that part of it. But I'd like to also start in doing the business of financial literacy, which you seen yesterday. So
Yep. No, great to see you. Thank you all for joining. You're here with a lot of our regulars, families, and friends. They hop on every day. Good to see Erica back. And, people hop in every day. We hop in to talk about different things, about getting you booked on more stages and sharing your message with more people. Claudine, what's up? I think I know what this is about, but what's up?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for solving the problem. Since we are here, we are just talking about solving problems and motivational inspirational speaking. But thank you so much for solving the problem. And I remember the first time when I came here, you directed me in a way that now I know exactly what to put on my flyers, what to put out there, so people know exactly what I'm doing. And when I go to speak, I give them the solution, the solution. And so thank you so much for doing that. So my problem has been to add my members to the account. And it has been a little hard, struggling for me. So that's why I'm here today, to see if it's okay, we can solve this, or if not, we can schedule.
No, we can solve it here. It's no issue. The issue is that you're logged into the wrong account. So you got to log out and then log back into the main account. You're trying to add them from a sub user account, which won't
Really?
allow you to do that. So everybody uses the same system in the software. And so we haven't had any other issues with people adding team members. But I remember the last time you were logged in as a sub user, not into your main account. So you won't be able to add a person from when you're logged in under that sub email account. So, but let's do this. Let me make sure there's no other questions. Well, let's just do it while we got it. Go ahead and click on your name over on the right. Click on your name. No, let's do it. We can solve this in 2 seconds.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
And then
very
we'll
much.
close out with any other questions or comments.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. So
go ahead and click on your name on the right.
Okay, my name on the right.
Yep. And go to team and workspaces.
Okay.
Right. So, okay, right now you're there. Now put your person's email address in at the top.
Okay.
No, right there, right? No. Under your team. Yep. Type the email address that you want the person to be able to log in with.
Okay, put it right here, correct?
No, up at the top, under your team, right there.
Right here. Okay. So I'm gonna grab that paper quickly. Here I have it ready. So it's a nudge. Oh my goodness, please don't do that to me. Okay, I'm grabbing the email.
Yep, that's right.
Copy. Okay. So, and then go back. And then
paste it there.
The email here, paste. Okay.
Yep. And then go ahead and hit invite member.
Okay. Email.
Okay.
I'm just taking a note. So if sorry everyone. Okay. So go to
the orange button. Just click the orange button.
Orange box. Okay. Button.
And is she going to be pitching for you?
Yes.
So click share branding kit so that she doesn't have to recreate those things.
Okay.
And then click send invitation.
Send invitation. Okay.
All right. So now we're just waiting. So everything is ready. They just need to open up their Neeraja needs to open up her email and click the link in the email and log in with her Gmail. And she's ready to go.
Okay. So I got it now. I got it.
Yep.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna go start the process with the second person. But thank you very much.
Yep, you got it. That's that easy. So anybody else who has a team member, you can add different team members to your account so that they can pitch on your behalf. And they'll be able to reach out as a third person saying, hey, I'm Ron, I'm reaching out on behalf of Kevin. Kevin does blah, blah, blah. Or you can make it where it just reaches out as if it's Kevin. Hey, I'm Kevin, even though it's me sending the pictures on his behalf. Any other questions about our conversation today about the minute that we as business people make it personal, we become uncoachable, right? The minute you take it personal, you my kids do it. I promise you. Let me say something to that little girl or my son, and they get upset. They ain't listening to me for the next 20 minutes. They are willing to take a whooping versus listening to me. They say, I don't want to do it. I remember, tell you a funny story. My daughter had gotten into a fight with her brother, and it was 100% her fault. And I said, look, if you apologize, you can go. You know, she stood there for 50 minutes with her hands like this, said, I'm not apologizing for 50 minutes. And I'm just like, well, I can sit here longer than you. And she is just bawling, and she's like, I'm not going to apologize. Because in her mind, she didn't do nothing wrong, and she was being uncoachable. But her brother felt bad for her, so he gave her a hug, and then she apologized. But if it was up to me, she would still be standing there today, 3 months later, because she was going to learn that whatever daddy say, daddy means, right? But now, guess what? That 50 minutes of standing there and realizing that she probably didn't like standing there for 50 minutes. Oh, apologies come quick now. Yeah, they come quick. These apologies, they come out. They come out, you know. But any questions about the conversation from a business perspective, from a speaker perspective? Stay coachable, guys. Find somebody that's already done what you're trying to do and just follow their recipe. Just do exactly what they've already done. Like, you ain't got to change it. Is it going to happen tomorrow? No, because you're going to be bad at it at the beginning. I don't know anybody, the first time that they rode a bike, they rode in the Tour de France. Nope, we all fell off and scarred up our knees. And if you had them pedals with the metal on it, we all had that. Y'all remember that thing? Them cheese grater pedals? I don't know how old y'all are, but I'm going to share my age real quick. The metal bike pedals. Y'all remember them? You get one of these on the shin, metal bike pedal. You get one of these on the shin when you was on your Huffy? Not that, the old ones.
Yep, it's going.
You catch one of these, you get one of these on your shin, boy. Oh, I don't know if y'all had these, but these the bike pedals that was on my bike. Boy, that thing spinning, boom.
Painful. Takes a minute.
Right? Yeah, right. That's how it feels, that first podcast, that first speech that you all excited about. And then I remember my brother-in-law, he loosened up the wheels on my front wheel on my bike. And he knew I liked to pop wheelies. I went to pop a wheelie and that wheel came off. Oh man, it was terrible. Broke my freaking nose. But that's a whole nother story. But sometimes that's what it feels like when you get out there on a bigger stage that you thought you were comfortable on. But someone's going to give you some constructive criticism on how to improve the speech, how to build a bigger business, how to go faster. You just got to make sure that you're not taking it personal so that you can be coachable and get there, right? Any questions before we go? We're going to close out on this.
You brought up Lisa Nichols, fantastic lady. And I have a friend of mine who, she has been I tell her periodically about the platform because we've both, been in real estate. We know what we want to do. She's written a book and I encourage her, to even just come on. And she's been waiting for 3 years to find $2,500 to go get a Lisa Nichols coach wanting to be like Lisa right now. When you say that, most people are thinking they want to be, yes, you want to be like Lisa right now, but Lisa didn't get there being so green. And she's waiting for that $2,500, instead of saying, let me come and grow something, start small, move along. And then, one day she might discover you online and say, hey, come speak at my summit. You know, so some people are just very different that way. You can't coach them, you can't motivate them, you can't do a darn thing with them other than left them to their own devices.
Well, I think that's what you have to do with everybody,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, I can provide the opportunity, I can't provide the desire.
Mhm.
So I'm not here to put the desire in you,
Mhm.
right? Because you got bigger problems. If you need motivation to do Speaker Hub, you
Mhm.
probably need motivation to do a lot of stuff in your life. So
Exactly.
I can't fix those things. That ain't. I'm not a. I'm not free to do what is it? Individual leadership, self leadership,
Self-leadership.
self leadership. Yeah,
Yeah.
I ain't. That ain't my talk.
Actually, now that you brought it up, the motivation thing that I wanted to say was when you look at motivation internally, that's the one you're saying you cannot give me that one. But the reason some of us are here is because motivation has two prongs. There is the internal one and the external one. I already have the internal one, thanks. But I came to you for the external one. It's like when you're playing whatever game you're playing, you can just play if you don't have the fans sitting at the benches, even if they were paid fans or people who just love your game and they're sitting there. So you have the motivation internally, which we call intrinsic, and then you need the other people, which we call extrinsic. And that's how life rolls.
You know what? This is why I like these calls, because there's always going to be somebody on the call that's a leader in that area that can put it in how it's supposed to be. She just summed up what it took me 45 minutes to say in about 30 seconds. Next time, I'm just going to tell, hey, anybody want to talk about this topic? Because she just summed up my entire day in 30 seconds beautifully. Intrinsic, and what's the other one?
Extrinsic.
Extrinsic and
Okay.
intrinsic.
All right.
Intrinsic, extrinsic. So when it comes to motivation, when it comes to incentives, it's the same thing. That is why most of us who are on 9 to 5, our extrinsic motivation of money didn't work because we were looking for something else and it wasn't the 9 to 5 or the money coming from the 9 to 5, even when the money was a lot of money. So there was something there because it wasn't aligning with my intrinsic.
Gotcha. Okay. We're gonna have to talk again about this. We're gonna have to get you to teach something about this because I think you got the riddle to the, like you got the answer to the riddle that I don't have. We're gonna check back on that, Frida. Saran, what's going
Ron,
on?
in a very different way. You have it. Remember, we all teach very differently, okay?
Oh no, I get it. Look, I'm not putting myself down, but I recognize game. Frida got the
Game
game.
recognizes game.
I know Frida got the goods.
That's
Like, hey man,
awesome.
you
Mhm.
know, I'm gonna go to Frida because Frida got the goods in that area, just like you got the wellness thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, yes.
Say, Ron, what's up?
Mhm.
Don't run away from us. I saw your hand up. What's going on?
Yeah, what you guys talking about is way more important, and I'm learning a lot from all of you. Thank you very much, Ron, as usual, to deliver all these gems and go to these daily call. You said you cannot fix everything, but could you please at least fix my technical problem on my page? Because Angela also, we talked about it yesterday, and Angela said maybe it's because of the amount of the pitch I sent. It's running slow, like the pages go back to error, then it's kick me back to the dashboard. And also when I open the pitch email, it's long, like a story. I know
Yeah,
that.
so the email length is something that is being shortened. We had a whole conversation about that with the development team. That should be fixed on tomorrow. It's a hot fix that's going out. The other thing, I can only imagine what's happening. So if you can make a Loom video showing us what you're experiencing, then that's the easiest way. Because do y'all remember the CarX commercial? And the jingle for it was ratter tatter thunder bladder boom boom boom. Don't worry, call the Car X man. Y'all remember that? Well, in St. Louis, that was the commercial, right? And what happened is that the guy at Car X, the lady would come in and he would say, "Well, what's wrong with your car?" "Well, it goes ratter tatter, and when I hit the brakes, it goes boom boom boom." And they had all of these sounds, but he had no clue what was happening to the car, right? So when you all describe, well, when I click this, it goes back to here. I have no clue what you're experiencing. So I need it on video so that I could actually see what's actually happening. Because, well, I clicked this and it did this.
Yeah, mine.
Man, I have no clue.
It's
Just make a video for me.
Yeah, it's as simple as when I try to pitch, it keeps spinning. There is a lot of
Give
weight.
me a video. A video. I don't think you understand. I just happen to own this thing.
Okay.
I don't know all the screens. And Maria changes that daggone thing every week because we get feedback from you guys. So you got to give us a video. Things change. Every week we release a new version of this software with little bitty tweaks. So what was there last year isn't there now. So you just got to work with me, Saran, and everyone else. Video is the easiest thing. Loom is free.
Yeah.
Download Loom, make a screen recording, send me the link. I promise you, we will get it. We will get it worked on.
I understand English. I speak 3 languages. English happened to be one of them. So I do understand. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Just give us a video. It's the easiest one. Any other questions?
Yes, me. So thank you. I just added the 2 people, but then I have 100 pitch from the previous person. So how do I do that? So how do I adjust? I don't know how to, maybe I can share the screen again. One other person is still there with 100, the person who was actually pitching for me before, her account is still here. So
Right.
how
Yeah, it's
do
going to
I
be there.
Right.
So,
how
go
do I
ahead,
pick
Ange.
up from
Right. I
that?
just want to give you a little context. Claudine and I
So
met
let's do
last
this.
week
Wait,
and we
hold on,
went
hold on,
through
hold on,
this.
hold on. Let's not do this here. Hey guys, any other questions about today? Because I don't want to turn this into a support call and we end up going for 20 minutes just holding people on this. Any other questions about the topic for the day before we end it? And then we can just stay on with Claudine to solve whatever problem she has. All right, cool.
Nope.
There's no
Okay.
other questions. Good to
Have to
see
hop off.
everybody. Talk to y'all later. And I'll catch up with you. Claudine, Ange, if you want to stay on to add whatever
Yeah.
context you need,
Yep.
let's go ahead and do that. But